Hey guys, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. I have got a fun note card for you today. Coffee and a Card is tomorrow at my Chicago area home studio. All adult crafters in the Chicago area are welcome. Coffee and a Card is a drop-in. It's one card. We have a pot of coffee on, usually a sweet treat. Fun ladies, and we make a card. It's $5 or it's free with a Stampin' Up order, and we just have a really good time. So if you live in the Chicago area and you're interested in dropping in to stamp with us, you can email me, Marissa at kitchentablestamper.com. Tomorrow at Coffee and a Card, we are saying goodbye to the 2017-2019 in colors and to the Dragonfly Dreams stamp sets. We'll have a little retirement party for those awesome products. The 2017-2019 in colors are Lemon Lime Twist, Fresh Fig, Powder Pink, Tranquil Tide, and Berry Burst. If you're looking for cardstock, ink, re-inkers, accessories, ribbons in those 2017-2019 in colors, you're going to want to shop early for the best selection. All right, so the supplies that you need to make this card, and we're going to do this Berry Burst version in the video, include the Dragonfly Dreams stamp set. This is on the Stampin' Up retirement list, and like the in colors, available while supplies last. A little hello is from Itty Bitty Greetings. I just love this tiny little hello. Cute for these little note cards. I've cut shapes with my stitched framelets, or my stitched shapes framelets, and my layering squares framelets. Now we're using for this project the 2 1/8 inch stitch square layered with the 2 1/4 inch scallop. All the measurements will be on the project sheet for you. I'm using my leaf punch and my classic label for this project. Ink is Memento Tuxedo Black and the Mango Melody Stampin' Blends Combo Pack. I've got a little bit of Wink Estella for my bee's wings. The camera might not pick that up, but it's a great little detail. Embellishments, I have my 2017-19 in color buttons. I love these buttons. One of my favorite Stampin' Up embellishments. I love that they coordinate perfect with the in colors, but they're also wafer thin. So they won't kill you on postage. They're not gonna make this card that 1/4 inch thick. In the US, if it's over 1/4 inch thick, you pay a lot of postage, and these are wafer thin. They're really nice. I've got some linen thread. My consumables are Whisper White stitched in basic black scallop squares. I've got a 6x6 piece of the In Color Designer Series paper. This is the 6x6, and I came to this design using the Wonder Recipe number 5. So I don't know if you've been following Kitchen Table Stamper, but sometimes when I get a little bit of a stamper's block, I like to take 6x6 paper, and I have a couple of different cutting diagrams that I call Wonder Recipes. Then I'll just take the Designer Series paper and cut it up. Once the Designer Series paper is cut up, it's hard to go back from there. So we're gonna use Wonder Recipe number 5 for this. And if you click on the link underneath the video, Wonder Recipe number 5 will be printable. And if you click on the right-hand sidebar in the blog, link to the blog will be underneath the video if you're watching on YouTube. But in the right-hand sidebar is 6x6 Wonder Recipes as a category, so you can click that and see all the other Wonder Recipes and some ideas of what to do with the paper, how to lay it out once you've cut it up. Is that clear? If you've got questions about Wonder Recipes, just email me. They really help me get going when I'm having a little trouble getting started. I've got scraps of vellum cardstock, and my card base is Berry Burst. It's 8.5 by 5.5 inches and scored at 4 1/4. All right, so let me clear this away for just a minute. We're gonna grab the Simply Score tool to start with, because if you look at my cards here closely, you might see that there is a striped texture in the background. This one I did at 3/8 of an inch, every 3/8 of an inch. This one I did at every 1/4 of an inch, and I'm gonna do that kind of striped texture with my Simply Score tool. the bump to be up on my card. I want, see if you notice, my score line is not indented, it's actually bumped out. And so to get that effect, what I'm gonna do here is I'm going to open my card and I'm going to score from the inside out. So we've scored at 4 1/4 to fold the card. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna score every 1/4 inch. So at 4, 3 3/4, 3 1/2. Every once in a while I jump the track, and I just want to tell you, you can slow down, be careful about it, but if it happens, it's really not a big deal. I'll show you in just a minute what I'm gonna do about it after we score at each 1/4 inch. And I'm using the bigger end of the stylus, the bigger tip, and just using kind of moderate pressure and going all the way across the card. Now the fun part about this is with the Simply Scored, you can score at any width, you can score straight, you can score vertical or horizontal, you can even do diagonals. So it's a lot of fun for adding a little texture to the back or to the front of a card. And I don't know if you can see if the video camera's picking it up, but I jumped off the track over here. So what I'll do is I'll just line that up in the Simply Scored face up instead of face down. And from the track that it lines up with, I'll just very gently work out that little boo-boo. And see, no big deal. Now we've got our nice scored line pattern at every 1/4 inch across the front of the card. Simple and a cute little detail. All right, now, Wonder recipe number 5. Let's cut up our designer series paper. The other thing I like to use the Wonder recipes for is mass producing. So this is going to be my thank you card for April. When you place an order with me at marisaAlvarez.stampinup.net of Stampin' Up order, I always send a handmade card. And so when I need to produce quite a few cards, I like to grab the Wonder recipe on the designer series paper and just cut it up and then go from there. Because the Wonder recipe number 5 is just simply to cut the 6-inch paper in half, both directions, making 3 by 3 pieces. So each 6-inch sheet will make 4 cards. So when I'm mass producing, Wonder recipe is a great place for me to just jump right in. So now I've got enough paper here to do 4 copies of this awesome little note card. I think there's 6 different Wonder recipes, and they're all printable and available at kitchentablestamper.com. All right, now got our sample back in. Let's get our pieces here and do some stamping. Okay, I got my Stampin' Pierce mat, my photopolymer stamp, and my Memento Tuxedo Black. I'm gonna ink up really good. I want my bee's body to be bold and solid black. And then I'm gonna stamp it on the top half of the square. We wanna leave plenty of room for that little hello banner. Now I'm going to take my classic label punch. I find it a little bit easier for me to stamp it in the right position and straight when I punch out the banner. I've got a little hello, and I'm going to ink that one up in Memento also, and I'm going to stamp a little hello just to the right of center, just a little bit. We want to leave a little extra on the left hand side to make room for that button. There's a little hello. Now we're done stamping. Let me get my Stampin' Blends and we'll do some quick coloring. The coloring here for this little bee is super simple. I'm just going to take my light Mango Melody and color in the alternating stripes between the black. And then I'm going to take my dark Mango Melody. I'm just going to trace down the edge of my bee here on both sides. That's it. Just a tiny little bit of contour shading is all we're doing. It's such a small area, it's going to blend itself, and the darker shade just gives us a little bit of contour on our bee, a little bit of interest to the eye. going over the wings with a Wink Stella pen. This is a ultra fine glitter and kind of a clear silvery color. Looks great on the bee's wings. Now we'll set that aside to dry for just a minute. And I've lost my little skinny button. It's so skinny, you can't tell where it's gotten off to. All right, skinny little button. I'm gonna thread with some of this linen thread. And then I'm going to stick the little button on my glue dot here. Put that aside for just a minute. I'll tie my bow last. I'll show you in a minute why. Let's do some gluing. I'm going to get some snail or some fast fuse is fine here. We're gonna take one of these 3-inch, oh, that was the front. We're gonna take the bee and adhere to the center of the black scallop. And then we'll adhere this scallop panel to the center of our designer series paper. Then designer series paper to the front of the card. Now what I did was took and adhered my designer series paper so that the right, left, and top were equal. So it's a little off center on the card, a little high of center. A little hello. It's going to get some snail or some fast fuse, just a little dry adhesive. But hold on, we're not going to tack that down yet because we've got this scrap of vellum cardstock and the leaf punch. So let's just pop out one of those leaves. And then we're going to adhere the leaves to the little hello. A little hello goes off the edge of our bee panel and I don't know, maybe a 1/4 of an inch up from the bottom. Now our little button, I'm gonna adhere that to the card, and then I'm gonna go ahead and tie this in a bow. I like to tie the bow when the button's attached to the card. Instead of having the button dangling at the end of the thread, it's secured to the card, so it gives you a little bit more control. All right. If you hold the center and pull the tails, you can adjust the size of your bow without making it come loose. And then we'll just trim off the excess and we're done. Can you believe it? How simple is that? And in all the awesome retiring in colors, what a great way to say farewell to the 2017-2019 in colors, right? So there's Berry Burst and Fresh Fig, Powder Pink, Lemon Lime Twist, and Tranquil Tide. All right, if you've got any questions about coffee and a card in the Chicago area, the project that we made today, how to get Stampin' Up! Supplies, or about the retiring products, you can email me, Marisa, at kitchentablestamper.com. You can shop 24/7 at marisaalvarez.stampinup.net. Thanks for watching.